What if the person who follows every rule is the most dangerous person in the room? Not dangerous because they are violent, not dangerous because they are dishonest, dangerous because they are predictable. Machiavelli wrote a small book over 500 years ago. It had one simple idea, and that idea still makes people uncomfortable today. He said, a good leader is not always a good person. Most of us grew up learning the same lesson: follow the rules, be honest, be fair, treat people the way you want to be treated. And these lessons feel right, they feel safe. In school, the students who follows instruction get good marks. In a family, the child who obeys is called responsible. In the workplace, the employee who does exactly what they are told is called reliable. We are trained from a very young age to believe that a good behavior brings good results. And sometimes it does. But here is what we almost never ask: what happens when the rules were written by someone who benefits from your obedience? Hmm? But here is the deeper issue: rules are not neutral. Rules are written by people, and people have interests. They have power, they have fears. A king writes laws that protect the king. A corporation creates policies that protect the corporation. Even in small social groups, like a family, a school, an office, the rules often protect whoever already has authority. Machiavelli saw this clearly. He was not saying, be cruel. He was not saying, lie to everyone. He was saying something more uncomfortable than that. He was saying, if you want to lead, really lead, you cannot always ask for permission, because the person who holds power rarely give it away by following their own rules. Think about the word obedience. Obedience means doing what you are told without questioning it. For many years, obedience was considered a virtue, something good, something to be proud of. But Machiavelli asked, obedience to what? Obedience to whom? There is a difference between discipline, which means training yourself to act with control and purpose, and blind obedience, which means following someone else's direction without thinking. Have you ever confused discipline with obedience in your life? Now, think about the word authority. Authority means the power to make decisions and be respected. Op- Some people have authority because of their possession, their job title, their age, their social rank. But Machiavelli believed in a different kind of authority. He called it virtue, not virtue in the moral sense, but something closer to force of character, the ability to act decisively when the moment demands it. Real authority, he argued, is not given, it is earned or taken. And then there is perception. Perception means the way something appears to others, the image they see. Machiavelli understood that in politics and in life, perception often matters more than reality. A leader who seems strong is treated as strong, even before they act. A person who appears confident commands attention even before they speak. This is not manipulation, this is psychology. How do others perceive you right now? And is that perception true? Machiavelli wrote his most famous book, The Prince, as a guide. Not a guide for saints, a guide for survivors. He studied history, he watched leaders rise, he watched leaders fall, and he noticed something. The ones who failed, they were not always the weakest. Sometimes the ones who failed were the most honest, the most loyal, the most rule following. They were destroyed not because they were bad, they were destroyed because they were predictable. And their enemies were not. Machiavelli said, a leader must be like both a lion and a fox. The lion has power, the fox has intelligence. The lion cannot see the trap, the fox cannot fight the wolf. You need both. Power without intelligence is violence. Intelligence without power is weakness. Real leadership lives in the tension between the two. But here is where it becomes personal. Maybe you have never thought of yourself as a leader. Maybe you are thinking, this is about politics. This is history. This is not about me. But consider this. Every day, you make small decisions about how much of yourself to show, how much to say, when to speak, and when to stay silent, when to accept the situation and when to push against it. That is leadership over your own life. Maybe you don't like ambition. Maybe you are not afraid of failure. Maybe you are afraid of being seen, truly seen, as someone who wants more. Machiavelli would say, the person waiting for permission will wait forever. So let's redefine what it means to break the rules. Breaking rules is not the same as breaking ethics. Breaking rules is not chaos. It is not selfishness. Real rule breaking, in the Machiavellian sense, means this. You understand the rule well enough to know when it's no longer serves the situation. A doctor follows medical protocol, but in an emergency, the best doctors make decisions that no protocol predicted because they understand the deeper purpose of the rule, not just the rule itself. There is mastery. Mastery means understanding the system so deeply that you can move beyond it when necessary and still serve the real purpose behind it. Rules are maps. Maps are useful. But the map is not the territory. Think about your social life. How many times have you stayed quiet in a conversation because you were not sure if it was appropriate to speak? How many opportunities have passed because you waited for the perfect moment, the safe moment that never came? Now, think about ambition. The most successful people you admire in business, in arts, in ideas, almost none of them followed a simple, safe predictable path. They broke something, a rule, an expectation, a limitation someone else placed on them. And now connect this to learning English. Many learners wait. They wait until their grammar is perfect, until their pronunciation is perfect, until they feel ready. But that moment never comes. Machiavelli would say, speak now, make mistakes now, take the uncomfortable action right now. Because language is not a system to be perfected in silence. It is a living tool, and tools only improve through use. The leader does not wait for permission to speak. The learner must not either. We started with a question. What if the person who follows every rule is the most dangerous person in the room? Now, we can answer it. They are dangerous, not to others, but to themselves, because they have accepted a story about what they are allowed to do, who they are allowed to become, and how much space they are allowed to take. Machiavelli did not write a book about cruelty. He wrote a book about clarity. See the world as it is. Understand power as it operates and then acts. Rules describe the past. Leaders shape the future. Machiavelli was not teaching you to lie. He was teaching you to see. The real question is not, what are the rules? The real question is, who wrote them and why?